Welcome to the West Midlands. We're in Worcester and Sixways for the latest instalment in England's under-20 journey to the Junior World Cup. The Junior Springboks are in town. Thank you for joining us. It is under-20 rugby, England versus South Africa. Well, welcome to Sixways and welcome to Dowie Morris. Thank you for joining us, and what an evening we have in store. This should be really good fun.
I think it will be. South Africa coming here to try and replicate what they're going to find in the World Cup, playing 3 games. So they've already played 2, obviously, against Scotland, against Wales. They put 40 points on both those sides, and actually it's almost what's going to happen with the World Cup in France in May. And from an England point of view, you know, they were excellent in the Six Nations, just tipped for that title by France, but they've got some fantastic talent on show tonight.
And England, well, a lot of England under-20s are making the news at the moment, and we've got some fantastic players on show here at Sixways this evening.
Absolutely. Cameron Redpath is going with Eddie Jones. Ben Earl is going with Eddie Jones. Look, we've got some talent here. I'm looking forward to the likes of Grayson. Paul Grayson was my sort of fly half occasionally for the north of England. His lad's playing tonight, so you know it's great. And I just love the pathway. This is the buzzword that England uses, and so many under-20s come through the system. The Fords, the Farrells, but equally the guys. It's a fantastic sort of bed of talent, and they come through. And obviously with England not having a Saxon situation, where do they go? They basically go from under-20s into the Aviva Premiership, and then hopefully onto England.
Well, this may be junior rugby, but this is still England versus South Africa, and I have a feeling we're going to have a few car crashes out there tonight.
There's some rather big lads out there. I think the tonnage just in the England front row alone is over 20 stone. They've got props 22 stone, 23 stone, but equally South Africa have always got a good set piece. They've shown that against Wales. They've shown that against Scotland. It's going to be a titanic battle.
It will be. Well, we caught up with the coaches a little bit earlier. Let's hear what they had to say. Well, Steve, thank you for joining us. A big game ahead of a big month for junior, well, shall I say, under-20 rugby.
Yes, a big game tonight. Real test for these guys. We've been training hard this week, and this will be their final sort of run out before we go to the competition itself. So, yeah, they're really looking forward to it, very excited. Selection not quite finalised for the World Cup, so there's a bit to play for tonight. So, always very, very exciting evening.
I was going to ask about selection, a chance to have a look at a few people in particular?
Yeah, we've got a pretty good idea what the final 28 is going to be, but there are a couple of areas that we're still a little bit undecided. But I think actually they've all trained really well this week, and that decision is going to be a really difficult one. And maybe, you know, we might see something tonight that just tips the balance, but I think it's going to be a tough decision for us at the end of the day.
What do you expect from what is always a tough South African outfit?
Yeah, well, we would expect them to be very solid, physical up front. I was in South Africa last year to watch the under-18s play them. I'm guessing there'll be 1 or 2 of those guys up into this team. We've really been concentrating on us this week. We've not really looked at what South Africa are going to be doing. We may well come across South Africa in the World Cup at some stage, but we'll do that sort of analysis then. So, we are expecting them to be typically South African, really. So pretty robust and uncompromising, I guess.
Well, good luck, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sean, thank you for joining us. A little bit of a whistle-stop tour of the UK. How's it been for your boys?
It's been fantastic. Some of these boys haven't been overseas at all, so it's all adventure for them. So England said yes for this game, and we're grateful for them. So it's 3 games, 9 days, and then we're back to South Africa.
And 2 good wins against Scotland and Wales, but perhaps the acid test against England this evening.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Scottish has missed some of their players. The Welsh also, there's some of their players they couldn't get. So this is going to be a real test, and it's great for both teams, I think, to get proper preparation going into the Junior World Cup.
An opportunity in which to sort of route the 2nd and 3rd from last year. It would be nice to sort of put one over on the English in their backyard, surely.
It will be, but for us it's about the learning experience, trying different combinations that we haven't tested before, and we'll see how that goes.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thanks.
Now, very interesting to hear the insight there from the head coaches. A mouth-watering clash in prospect. The Sixways crowd is gathering. The stars of the future on show this evening. Join us after the break. Welcome back to Sixways Under-20 International Rugby. England versus the Junior Springboks. Alongside me for this, the experienced voice of Dowie Morris. Well, we've been here and talking to both teams, Dowie. This just gets more and more exciting. A real opportunity to see some stars of the future on show in front of you in England.
Well, absolutely. You know, we've mentioned the pathway that England players have utilised and used throughout, and equally for the South Africans. You know, the senior side are rebuilding themselves, and it may have to start. Yeah, a lot of these sides is a big rap. It's Morat, their captain, the big number 4. Watch out for him, and Lombard, the 15. They come with good sort of pedigrees. It's whether they can just sustain the power, I think, that England are going to exert on them.
And who tickles your fancy in the England camp? One or two names. I know we've spoken, and there's many that perhaps could make a name for themselves this evening. But one or two? There
is. I mentioned James Grayson at the top of the show. He will control things at 10. I'm looking forward to Tom Willis. Tom Willis at 8 is an absolute handful, and again he played a little bit against Italy and then he's got injured through the Six Nations. This is a big occasion for him, and I think if England are going to win or get close to winning the World Cup, he's got to stay fit and he's got to carry the ball, which he does in spades.
Out come England, and the rain is just starting to come down. My wingman Dowie Morris said almost to the minute. You are correct, Mr. Morris. That is absolutely superb. That it would be raining almost on kickoff. I don't think it will spoil the occasion. This 4G pitch at Sixways will hold up, and of course will allow a game to be played. And I think both these teams will test each other all over the pitch.
They will. The kicking game's going to be crucial as well. But the big thing about it, they actually water these pitches anyway to stop some burning that can actually happen on artificial surfaces. So this rain will go away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Like I said at the top of the show, it's going to be a titanic battle.
Now for the national anthems. Well, Dowie, all part and parcel of international rugby, getting used to it, getting used to the run of it. And this England side, with the likes of Grayson, you mentioned, the experience of Dingwall, but also some names like Ollie Lawrence and Joel Kapuku. We saw him down on the pitch. What a big unit the number 4 is.
They're all big units. They've got bigger units on the bench to come on, but again, that's the sort of modern game. But he's also got a fantastic pair of hands, an absolute athlete. James Scott will be calling the line-outs, and Aaron Hinckley's an out-and-out 7. He bends his back very, very well.
Steve Bates beforehand casting an eye, he said that there was 1 or 2 perhaps playing for places, so you'll see a very serious game of rugby. And the junior Springboks as well, they have 3 games. This is the 3rd game in quite quick succession, and a real opportunity for them to show their mettle against England.
It is. I mentioned the guy Salman Morat there, the captain. Again, he's been touted as the future Springbok senior captain, so again he'll lead from the front, and he's got a lot of ammunition around him.
Our officials this afternoon, the man with the whistle, Mr. Elgin Williams, and running the line, Christoph Ridley and Phil Waters. They're our officials. Williams from the Welsh Rugby Football Union. It is England through the work of Lawrence, who have to scurry back and get it. Parton has to get his dustpan and brush out and tidy that one up. Ben White, the Leicester Academy product, is at 9 this evening. He will be steering things. Ben White sits behind the likes of Harrison and Youngs at Leicester, and you can see a lot of Youngs in his game. He's going to have to clear this one. Up and over it goes. Will it make a difference, Dowie, the fact that South Africa have played these games, both in a positive sense and a negative sense? Positive in so much as they're used to it. They're used to these games of rugby coming at them.
You'd have to say, like I said, they're replicating what's going to happen in the Junior World Cup in France starting the 30th May. That's quick turnaround in the pool stages, and England have to be a bit more accurate than this. This is Ollie Lawrence putting a needed pressure really on the likes of Parton there. They have to really sort that out. England trying to attack from underneath the post, sometimes use the boot.
Now South Africa have taken the line out, and they've formed the rolling wedge as well, and it's got quite pace on it. The South Africans charging forward, England trying to break it up. Ball eventually makes its way down, and Kreur will get the ball to Pretorius with the slightly longer hair playing in the centre. Now the big man Ace goes through. They will be physical this evening. Kruger into Morat. Morat is one to watch as well, a future Springbok, we're being told. Erasmus makes a few more yards for the junior box. Into the midfield through the likes of Dixon they come. Morat again involved, but a welcoming committee in the shape of Joe Hayes in place. Shuts the door firmly in his face. This is Kurtzer. Kurtzer just grabbed to the ground by O'Gray. And Zazie Zandi, mobile prop forward. And a little bit of space, there's numbers on the wide outside. And in goes David Creel, does he high tackle? They might go back and look at it. No, they got over the line. David Creel, the Western Province boy, is over on the right wing. And just like we were talking about beforehand, Dowie, they start quickly, the South Africans.
Well, they've really hit the ground running, haven't they? The forwards just doing a fantastic job. Morat to the fore, most of those occasions carrying a couple of times, but that's a great finish. Ollie Lawrence went a little bit high, so I think he could have been in trouble possibly if the try hadn't been given by Elgin Williams. But again, that's the strength of the South African side, using their big forwards to create an overlap, and then the backs able to get over the whitewash. So great start, fantastic start for the junior box.
Well, a lot of people also liking the looks of number 10, David Kurtzer, the only man in the starting lineup out of the Sharks Academy. He will run things this afternoon, and was certainly at the heart of that move. And it's Gianni Lombard, the big boot from the Paarl Boys School, originally from Western Province, but now with the Lions Academy. We saw him lining him up in practice, and he slotted that one. Well, it's inch perfect from the junior Springboks at the moment, Dowie. A lot to admire.
Absolutely, and it's just a numbers game, isn't it? You just hold the inside shoulder, you pop the ball, Creel comes in on a good angle, and it's a very good finish, you've got to say, because you can see the man Lawrence coming across, but he got that ball down. But again, it's good precision from the junior Springboks. Now is the
PJ Steenkamp has to go backwards. He collects the ball, but a lot of offensive work in defence from England there, and there's a real mix-up on the line, and they've got a scramble. Where's the ball bouncing? The referee says knock on and gives the ball to England. That's better from England. They've got to fight for it tonight.
Well, they have, and they knew that, but that's a response straight away. It was a fantastic kick-off, and Kapuko, they're just getting involved, forcing the ball out of the back. That forces Kriya to go too quickly on his box kick, charge down, and this is a fantastic opportunity.
Joel Kapuku, my friend Alex Shaw, who knows his onions at this level, knows under 20 rugby. He really rates Joel Kapuku. He's got a twin brother as well in the Saracens Academy. There's two of them. Can you imagine? Stuff nightmares are made of.
There's a conveyor belt happening down there, isn't there? But
advantage.
Good scrum, and we got a show and go from Tom Willis, this man who's causing ripples in the Midlands. The Worcester Academy, a little space outside. Can it bounce? Can it work? Seabrook is after it. No! Oh, it wouldn't settle. He was just looking. He almost got there too early, didn't he?
Again, we see this move more and more in the modern game. The old kick pass, as it's called, but it's the bounce of that ball. Sometimes favourable, this time not.
Grayson with the little nudge through. The touch judge Christoph Ridley is in, and are they talking about? I think they might be talking about.
We haven't got the referee now here.
Not counter tries, the ball's going to go into touch, but I have no option to give you a yellow card.
Okay, so no penalty try. There was obviously contact off the ball to stop possibly Seabrook scoring. So that man who kicked a superb conversion, Lombard will have 10 minutes, cup of tea, and time to reflect.
Well, that is a blow for South Africa, not only in terms of number, but the fact that they're giving up position. And this is crucial for England if they can build from here. Gabriel Ogre with the line-out. James Scott goes up and eventually comes down. Here comes Kabuku, battling his way through. Now they keep it close. Joe Hayes, big Joe Hayes.
Held up
and scrum back. Almost called him Big John Hayes then.
Similar, different accent. Yes, the Bull Hayes, but he's done a good job here. As Joe, he just takes the ball up, and that's good. You've got to say, pretty well done by Steenkamp, PJ Steenkamp, just holding him up. The referee in a perfect position. But again, this is what they did in the Six Nations. They're not afraid just to go one out and just pick the ball and rumble. They know they've got support from behind them. There's a lot of weight in this English pack. Let's see if they can just get it stable now for White.
The front rows, Alex Seville out of Northampton, or should I say out of Gloucester, sorry. Gabriel Ogre and Joe Hayes, Leicester scrummager. Joe Hayes has Boris Stankovic shouting at him most weekends. Well, that'll get you scrummaging, won't it?
Those two, a thing or two about the dark arts. But again, they just want this ball in and secure. This is a nice try.
Made by Lombard, a little delay in the pass as well.
But it's good play, you've got to say, there from Pretorius. Again, he didn't go to the wing, he didn't take the space away from his winger. He holds his space inside, uses that inside shoulder. And they deserve that. What can England do from here? Just solid. Go again.
White sniping. White for the line again. South Africa scrambling. Quick blast on the whistle from the referee. He will take it back and they'll go again.
I think the right option here from White, because again, there's no one at home. Most of the forwards, actually, yes, there's no forwards in that sort of guard area. But really didn't go down low enough, possibly. But again, he'll get a second chance of it, or third chance, I should say. The Callings Grayson's coming over now to have a chat. They just need their forwards strong. That was a good. You could just see the power coming on from England. Sometimes you don't need that power. If a move's called from Grayson, we will see. The blind side though for the 8-9. 8-9-14 possibly.
Set.
Good scrummage is the call, is the need for England. White again, just orchestrating things. Willis controls it, they go blind. Seabrook will have to finish and have to go the hard way, go all the way round. Tyrone Green, in come the forwards to lend their hand.
That's a maul!
Now it's a maul, and that's a crucial call, because if it goes down it's turned over. And that was unlucky, all about body position, so difficult
body positions and inexperience there, because if you're going to do that move and go down the blind side, you don't wait for your number 8 to just to show you the ball. So White needed the 8, as in Willis, to get off there, to take one man out. He would then be the second man, and you've got your winger then Seabrook a chance. That was really, really dull, to be honest. It was just a 9 to a 14. He was standing flat-footed. Easy defence for South Africa, and now they got a turnover.
Is this kind of what we expected, in so much as England haven't played, sort of for a while? South Africa coming off the back of, a week of playing matches. They're going to be more used to this sort of thing.
They are, but again, it's something like that that's only through game time. White will learn from that. I'm sure Steve Bates, as an old scrum half, the same as me, would have just said, look, that was the wrong option there, because you're giving your winger absolutely no time or space. But again, how do you learn? You learn by making mistakes.
Ace comes up with it. Yeah, Western Province number 8. Real pedigree, Junior World Cup last season as well. Late call up for him. That hasn't gone out. And here goes Loader. Watch out for him. Called into the Brighton camp with Eddie Jones next week, but he's going to be called back by the referee. And again, more interference off the ball.
Again, I said dull before, that was even duller. I can't quite see who got taken off the ball, but again, it was deliberate, right in front of the Welsh referee. There was an opportunity there. They had people on this left-hand side, the ball being chipped through. It doesn't matter. That's, again, part and parcel of the game. Keep your discipline. Don't give the sides any options. A dull move up there on the right-hand side, and now an even stupider move in the centre. Let South Africa just creep their way back up to halfway and back into this game.
A line out now for South Africa, just on the 10-metre line. PJ Steenkamp comes down with it. He's making himself known already this afternoon. Almost 10 minutes on the clock. There's Pretorius bumping people out the way. Quick ball for Kruger. That's a good tackle on Sandy. And Spilt there, and not rolling away. Another penalty, and back they go. England, they're going to have to do this in reverse. This is clever and working. And quickly the ball is given to David Kurtzer, and they point into the corner.
Well, it's not flashy rugby, but it's very, very effective. You've got Pretorius, who's a big inside centre who comes straight, takes 2 people out of the game, and you have big props coming around the corner. Ted Hell put a good hit in it, but didn't roll away. The referee is talking to them all the time, and these are things you work at training, and they're not learning. I know it's early on in the game, only 10 minutes gone, but they have to eradicate this from the game plan.
Let's see what South Africa can do. The junior box, 2 definite pods. It reaches the back, comes down safely. It ripples infield, and then the wedge is formed. This looks strong from South Africa again. Good body positions. England having to scramble and reset themselves. Cleo wants it. Oh, the ball has been lost. Another simple mistake that this time undoes South Africa. A little bit of a let-off there. It was ominous, wasn't it, from England? South Africa look as though they've got the pinch on them.
They've always got a set piece. Their line-out just function well. It has been functioning well in this sort of mini tour that they've got. The scrum will go well. But again, in that occasion, the scrum half, or even Korea, the Free State lad, he doesn't need to go in there and demand the ball. Just if it stops again, give him, just turn around, give him the ball rather than go that. And as England made a couple of 3 mistakes, South Africa now have made one. So this is England's chance to clear the line and to exit.
Ben White will feed this scrum.
Literally. I think the hooker hooked it with his knee, but at least he did have an attempt.
There goes Willis. There's the strength of the young man. Tom Willis, brother of Jack. Jack tearing up the Premiership at the moment, but they reckon Tom Willis is just that little bit better, which is quite terrifying, really, when you think about it.
Let's put a bit of pressure on him then, shall we?
He is one to watch, certainly, Tom Willis. Now, Creel, the try scorer, comes forward. He's met by the combination of Loader and Hinckley. Quick ball is needed. It's slowed down by England. Through comes South Africa. Clear. The work of Dixon, a big lad. Deceptively mobile for a big man. And the backs have it again. Out wide, this is the good-looking Similani. He's a player and a ball player at that, but just as I say that, he kicks the ball out of the ball.
He's a good-looking lad, yeah, but that was an ugly kick. It was the right thing to do because it was just 2 against 2. Pop the ball through. Your forwards are generating some great momentum here, some good ball carrying. And it's a good crowd. I think there's 3,500-4,000 people expected, and I think that's about it. It's good for a Friday night to come down and watch the future stars. But South Africa has started this game very well.
Now you say future stars, of course. At the moment, England under 20 boys making a few headlines this week. Such is the talent at this sort of level. And James Scott, one of the home men, Worcester Warriors Academy boy. James Scott calling the lineouts this evening. Ben White, little
collapsing the maul,
nobble over the top, but they'll come back for the penalty. And we've heard a fair amount from the referee. It's a little bit stop-start, but you kind of expect that. Both sides sort of finding their way.
I think
he's chance here.
He's had a pretty good start, the referee, because he will have gone into the changing rooms. He will have talked about this. Please roll away. Don't do silly things. Unfortunately, England have. They've given 3 stupid penalties away, or 2 definitely stupid penalties.
Let's have a look at, there he is, James Grace in the middle of your picture. Now, you know anything about England rugby the last 20 years, this boy looks a spit of his father, he really does.
Yes, it's a double ganger, isn't it? A doppelganger, I should say. But
ball over the top and loose, and Deanne Scooneys comes forward. Again, more ball for Sazi Sandy. Scrummaged Georgia off the park a few weeks ago, so good in the loose as well. Ball out the back, Pretorius makes his way to the floor. Krue is choosing his ways, and he chooses his boot in the end. And Tom Parton, Mr. Consistency for England under 20s over the last 12 months or so. And then Grayson, who's steering Northampton Saints already, playing in the Premiership last weekend, and showing a good boot on himself there. Similani, and another kick from him, more pressure put on him. First time in the under-20s for him, and this is a different test. I mean, with respect to Scotland and Wales, South Africa, they said it themselves, England are a different beast at under-20s level.
They are a physical side. They've got so much talent that they can pick from, and they hone that in the Six Nations. They should have won the Six Nations. Well done to Scotland, they beat them, but England were, statistically and percentage-wise, had most of the game, but they just couldn't get that precision that day. But no, there's a tremendous amount of talent. Grayson doing the right thing, seeing a lot of space there as his dad won a World Cup. He'll be looking to win a Junior World Cup with England in May.
Willis ships it on. Grayson has to get rid of it quickly, but there's a bit of space for Parton. Parton flies through. Loader, a bit of space as well. The little shimmy from Loader. Loader gets away from tacklers, and Loader is in the corner. That's a good finish. Admittedly, the tackling perhaps wasn't out of the top drawer, but Ben Loader, the London Irish Academy graduate, called into the Brighton camp next week with Eddie Jones. There's a nice little bit for his CV.
Well, you can see why. Again, it's a fantastic surface to play on. He keeps his legs pumping, some of the tackling. Well, he just bumps off, actually. I'll give him credit for that, because it's tremendous strength. I was due to see this guy start up in Wales, up in Kingston Park when they played Wales. He pulled out just before the game with a hamstring. Ipiatoia came and I think got a hat-trick, got man of the match. But again, he's an absolute flying talent. You can see the celebrations here, and England clawing their way back into this game. And as the rain comes down, that won't affect it at all. That was a good finish.
He has been unlucky with injuries, Ben Loader. Got a brother who plays football for Reading, so quite the sporting family. And talking of sporting families, young Grayson to kick this from the left-hand touchline. The rain is still coming down. Won't put Grayson off.
Well, the ironic thing with the rain, they are replicating what it's going to be like hopefully in the south of France in May and June, and they're going to have water breaks after 20 minutes.
Yeah, this is just the weather in Narbonne, I have to say, down on the Béziers coastline. It's a good score, back in it, England.
Oh mate, back in it. Look, this England side have got so much talent, so much ammunition to fire. It's where they do it and how they sort of,
huge Ted Hill, a big physical man. Donica O'Callaghan was mentioning him in one of his last games over here for Worcester, saying Ted Hill's the future at Worcester Warriors. Well, you can see there, not backwards and coming forwards is Ted Hill. Actually a hit from Ted Hill which did O'Callaghan. Loader making the best of that down the left-hand touchline. I was reading an article where Donica O'Callaghan said, I knew that it was my last game when I got hit by Ted Hill, and you saw there what you might be talking about.
Here we go. For those who like the big hits, Worcester lad, thank you very much. Gee whiz, is even better the second time.
Yeah, we'll have to go and find dear old PJ Steekamp's front teeth, I think. Line up, well gathered at the back. Runners, one of them is Schoonies. Quick ball, releasing these backs. Milani just getting up ahead of steam. Trying to get away from his defenders. Again, they're doing well, the junior box, at keeping this ball alive. Kurtza into Pretorius. Does well to present the ball. Clear. A little dink through, and Ben White's got to be clever here.
He's not clever because he's given the line out to South Africa.
Does he put his foot on the line
yes,
as well?
He did.
Phil Waters on this near side, and that's again another mistake from Ben White.
Phil's got his glasses on. That was a bad mistake again because you just let that ball out. You get the throw into the line out. I know what he was trying to do, but again, precision. Make those right calls.
Well, the likes of Rory Brand on the bench, the London Irish scrum half, Joe Snow as well, the Exeter scrum half. There are options, and this is crucial time.
Well, look what could happen from here, because they've got a good set. England doing well. They're trying to push him into touch.
Skolka Rasmus has got the ball under his wing. Here goes Krula. Runners, one of them is Schoonies. Krula again. This is the big man, Morat. Salman Morat, Western Province lad. Again, they keep it tight. Sandy ships it on a little bit further, but they're just starting to prod away at the England defensive line. Here goes Sandy again. Little help from his friends. Little lateral perhaps. PJ Steenkamp recovered from that hit now and peppering the England line. Round the corner, they keep on coming. England have got to be watertight here. They dive for the line. Ball has to go back. South Africa has still got it. Macbeth has to relent and place the ball back. Sandy again has been involved in this a fair few times. England at the moment are holding. Ball, has that been knocked forward? I think it has. Well, that'll go down as a good defensive set for England.
Phenomenal defence from England. You're almost going to give South Africa, the baby box, a try there, because it was just relentless, one after another. Big guys being latched on and pushed closer to the line, but you stick to your process, stick to what you're meant to do, stick to all the drills you've done in training, and that's what England did there. Forced the turnover from a knock on. And here's our water break. Can I have two sugars, please? Anyone down there? 2 sugars and a touch of milk.
I'm not sure whether this applies to us, but let's have a look at some of the better bits. And it's been an interesting 20 minutes, full of sort of nip and tuck. And this was the first try for South Africa, and it was well taken.
These are the future. This is the future. Lombard, he's probably not the biggest at 15. He's having to sit out 10 minutes in the sin, but again, he set that up. It was the second line of runners that came in. Creel scores that try, and again, it's just a numbers game. The forwards had done the damage, allowing then the likes of Pretorius just to straighten up, give it to Creel in at the corner. It was a tremendous and fantastic start for the Springboks.
It was well constructed, well made. And just really, you thought South Africa looked like the team that had been playing games of rugby, which they have been, Saturday against Scotland, Tuesday against Wales. They looked as though they were in the rhythm.
They've come over on this tour to replicate what's going to happen in the Junior World Cup, and they're doing that. Whether they run out of steam because of those games, we'll have to see. But this is, again, a good movement of the ball. He gave Loader a lot of chance to do what he does best, is finish. Obviously, he came back in, used his upper body strength, kept his legs pumping on this fantastic 4G service. And again, this is a good finish. You can say maybe the tackles are not, slightly high. They've gone too high. They try to rip the ball off. Not even Pretorius, who's very, very dynamic going forward, could do nothing there. And you can see the celebrations, what it meant to the England team.
Well, it was a good try, and it sort of allowed England, because they'd had a couple of false starts. They'd had a couple of forays into the 22, which hadn't worked out.
They've made mistakes. I think White at 9, look, he's a fantastic talent. But again, he made a wrong call 5 metres out. And when you get into the tournament down in France, you get very few chances when you play the big boys, the New Zealanders, the Australians, whatever. Obviously South Africa, you've got to make the right decisions at the right time, and that time Loader definitely did that. That's great to see.
This is this little error here from Ben White. You can see the little toe on the line. Phil Waters, the Premiership assistant referee, is eagle-eyed.
Eagle-eyed, and you're going to say Ben White wasn't eagle-eyed because he was not looking where his feet are going. Maybe he will do that. Look, we all make mistakes, and you only learn, as I said, from mistakes. So, water break over.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I've just finished my Bovril.
We are at Sixways, and it is junior. Well, I say junior rugby. Goodness me, there's nothing junior about the size of these.
No, I know.
There?
There's definitely not. They enjoyed. I was talking to Zeke, the press guy, press lady lover, and she said they were walking around Cardiff in this fantastic weather that we had. Well, that was our summer actually. It wasn't 2 days of summer. And some of the guys were saying, "Oh, we'd love to play over here." And Z just looked at me. It's not always like this.
It's a little bit more like this sometimes, but never mind. It is a scrummage to England. About 5 metres out. They've done some wonderful defensive work just before that break, and they have to get themselves out of this little hole that they found themselves in.
Well, this is where Macbeth, who has actually played for Scotland under 20s, on the loose head, and Sandy on the tight, it can really put some pressure on England.
9, that was a perfect spin.
As ever, they give them a big rap and they fall to the floor.
Well, you were talking about the kgs at under 20s. I mean, it really is big,
but these guys can play. They get over the ground. They've got fantastic hands. It's all the front row have to be able to pass, have to be able to be manoeuvrable. Yes, it still comes down to your bread and butter, your nitty-gritty. You have to do this. But there's so much more now to a prop. But if you're 22 stone, my goodness me, you're going to get picked, aren't you?
Oh, big push from South Africa. England are going to have to be cute with this. Ball is bouncing around. We can't really see it from here. I think England have got it. No, South Africa. I think England just about rescued that. Yes, they have.
Well, Willis made the snap decision. He had to go, but actually what's happened when you learn retreating back there, you're going to get hit from the back row, and that's what's happened now. England in all sorts of trouble.
White will clear it. It's a good kick. In the circumstances, under the pressure, that is good clearance from England.
That's a cool head from White there. And again, Willis does so well. He makes this decision. He's going back, takes it up, gets hit and held.
Steenkamp it is.
It is Steenkamp. That's good play, and there's only one option really for White there, just to get up to the 22. Did very well.
Again, more good real estate acquired for South Africa. They can build from here as they have done before. And Skull Erasmus, the Western Province man, has got his hands on the ball at the back of this, his eyes just above the counter. With fine work from Ben Jason Dixon steering it round. And England will have to retreat. Referee Williams telling people to get out, and they've made about 15 yards here, South Africa, and they're going to stick to the plan. It goes down, it is out, arm, penalty coming. Schoonies goes forward a little bit further. South Africa are asking questions once again. Sandy.
England doing well here, gang tackling. One goes low, one goes high.
Well, and this is Kruger for the line. Will he slide over? Can he get the ball down? In goes Kurtzer to help. There's a referee's come in and said yes. A little bit of help from the touch judge was there. I think there might have been.
Yeah, I think he bounced it down there, and definitely Pretorius adding his extra weight. The call came from the touch judge. I think it was wattage, but that's a good break again. That's what you need from a 9. Always on hand, just in case. Normally it's a big forward taking it down. He's put it down there anyway, so you've got to give it him.
Rivan Kruger, the man who played in the Junior World Cup last year for South Africa, lending some vital experience. Back on the field is Gianni Lombard, and he will add the extra points. And a little bit like the opening quarter, South Africa start fast.
Yeah, and it was Kutzia, his fly half backs in tandem there. That's a lovely little break. It just goes in, sees the space.
You used to get number 10s landing on you like that, didn't you?
Number 10 used to run the other way. Goodness me. Yeah, we got a game. We knew we would have a game. We knew we'd have a very good game, but England are unable at the moment to stop this catching drive by South Africa. Their line-out has ever functioned. It's been functioning superbly on this sort of mini tour, and they can't stop it.
We've had some substitutions I can see below. Sandy has come off. We'll try and keep them up. Rolling substitutions tonight. Was at one stage going to be 24 players, but we're on 23. This is good work from Ted Hill. front of his home crowd. Worcester Warriors boy. He made a mark on this game.
I think they're allowed a dozen, that they rolling subs. Is it each?
I think that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Certainly be fluid tonight. Grayson pulls it back. This is the impressive Ollie Lawrence. Grayson again. Out wide, Parton trying to part the ways. White again. Good, quick ball. This is Hayes. He meets the ground.
Thank you.
And allows the ball to come back this way. Dingwall, quick hands, out wide to the try scorer Loader. He skips inside and tries to buy himself an extra yard or so. White again into the midfield. The door is shut firmly on them. England have to go sideways at the moment. Grayson trying to pick his weapon. Fraser Dingwall chucks the ball away, and there's a little bit of a chase on here. South Africa have got to be cute, so is Grayson. The legs are pumping, he's got to slide back and get this. They've got to let him up. Well, I thought they did. Maybe they don't.
He's quicker than his dad, isn't he?
He's in 9.
And England are back in their own 22 after all that hard work. A little mistake in the midfield, a little bit of over-exuberance means that South Africa have got the smell in their noses again.
Use 9.
Ogre's got a slight injury there. You can see Ben White is putting his hand on it. Hopefully the hooker can run that off.
Back you go.
White will clear again. And we'll look at that. It was disappointing again. England building and just a little bit of trying to play it too much, just trying to be too clever with it, and all of a sudden you're 40 yards back further down.
Just one mistake. I think it was Dingwall there, just getting caught with the ball and then getting it sort of ripped out. But you've got to credit against South Africa's sort of rush defence. They've put in England's midfield under a lot of pressure.
Again, the line-out is quickly turned into a maul. Joe Kapuku comes over the top. There's long levers of his trying to do some damage, but the wedge is formed and South Africa will steer this ship in.
Well, if it ain't broke, just keep going and going. You can see how much hard work they've done on the training pitch to do this. Sucks all England's forwards in. That's a great tackle.
Breakaway and a really good tackle by Hinckley. Real opportunity for Aaron Hinckley. The likes of Tom Curry and Ben Earl won't be involved in the Junior World Cup. Perhaps an opportunity for Hinckley, and there's a good moment for him. South Africa recycle the ball. This is the big man, Untlabakanye. I'm glad I could say that correctly.
Done.
And Lombard, a little show of his speed and presence of mind. Penalty against that. Ball given back to South Africa, I think. Sorry, to England. Going over the top, was that?
It was the clear out, yeah. Again, cleared out too far past the ball. But again, it's good power.
Yeah, this big lad, Mabakanye, he is causing a bit of a stir back home, but you can see the clear out comes in from Scoonies.
Scoonies just clear that. That's called clearing out.
Yeah. Scoonies scoons in there, isn't he? You could almost make it an own verb. There you go.
You're not allowed to do that. But, yeah, they just do it well, South Africa. You can see they're putting the game plan together and they're utilising their forwards. England's falling apart.
This is Ntlabakanye comes forward again. Doesn't need a second invitation to open spaces. Daniel Eust is on the field. Slow. England have just about slowed it down legally. Klua comes to Kurtzer. Kurtzer runs into two very large French doors in the shape of England players. Lombard, little kick through. As Grayson scurrying back. Grayson's kick down the right-hand touchline is a relatively good one.
It was, but there was an opportunity then on that blind side because two South African defenders had gone back for the kick and there was just forwards out there. He didn't actually scan and see that quickly enough. He's just put his toe on it and now giving again South Africa the ball back, and you know what they're going to do from here probably. Catch.
Up they go. Dixon comes down and we form. And they come forward.
They do very well.
Going to have to deal with this, aren't they? Going to have to look at how they deal with this, because at the moment South Africa have got their number. Again, it creeps forward. What can they do? The body positions from England are relenting. South Africa traipse forward a little bit further.
Change, okay? You're fine there.
And Tom Willis has eventually brought it down. He's lying in the way and it doesn't come back, and the referee gives the ball to England, and Willis is happy about that, but it's still a concern. I think the forwards coaches from England will be scratching their heads at the moment.
Well, you either not compete in the line-out and stop it at source, or you actually try and get your jumpers that will start reading where the South Africans are going to throw the ball. It's a difficult one, or you give a penalty away, but then by giving a penalty away, you've got options of possibly 3 points. They could go into a corner, you could get yellow carded for a professional foul. It's still a major part of rugby. Love or loathe, but a lot of forwards love it, and South Africa are loving it tonight.
Well, it's very warm in there. I know that much.
Yeah. After the bank holiday weekend weather, they think, well, let's get a bit cosy.
Now, what can England do? Build from here, perhaps an exit strategy. White again, the scrummages are great, and the referee's whistle comes to England's rescue there.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on there, and O'Gray, the hooker, again, but you've got to learn how to be able to hook the ball, how to get all the power to take it on the tight head and loose head props, get comfortable, get that ball in, kick it in, and hook it back.
Well, Alex Seville on this loose head side. And last year, Seville, Walker, Kieran Knight were an all Gloucester front row for the under-20s. The likes of Hayes and Trinder and Painter challenging that this year. White will feed the back line and they'll give it a go. No, they won't. It comes off the side of the boot, although this might work for Loader, who spills it. Ball is allowed to be played, and Similani releases this wonder kid Lombard. He's got some real wheels on him. You've got to be careful when Lombard is around. Little nudge through there from Kurtzer.
Well, you can see why he's come with a big rap. He may not be the biggest, the 15 out there, Loader, but my word, he has got feet. Like Shane
Lombard.
Williams.
Well, there's praise indeed. Well, he steps sideways quickly, and very difficult to know which direction he's going to go in those sort of situations. And even on a greasy surface like this, England have got to be tight. They've got to be sharp and loose kick there, which Loader had to try and deal with. And it's those sort of mistakes which are making England work too hard at the moment, in my opinion. Kapuku comes down with the line out and is immediately challenged over the ball. Does get the ball back. That's good work from the Saracens Academy product. Into the midfield they come. It looked a little high. The referee will have a look at it, and yet the penalty's coming. White will get a free shot at this. Grayson will kick past it across the field. Seabrook scored one of the fastest ever Premiership tries a couple of weekends ago for Gloucester. Tom Seabrook. And it was a kick to nothing. They'll come all the way back.
High tackle.
White has scurried across. Just need a bit of a more sustained passage of play, don't they, England?
Yeah.
Really, a little bit more of a build.
But I think that's credit to South Africa. They've come with a very good game plan. They hit it up with a very powerful 12 inside centre in Pretorius. They've got a good set piece. The scrum's going well. The line-out is functioning superbly. The catch and drive works for them. They can finish. They've got a lot of talent behind. So England now, they've got to almost outthink what the Springboks to do. They've got to get their set piece going well, and they've got to get some runners around the corner to try and start creating some havoc in Cots's, in sort of the 10 and 12 channel, which will allow then Grayson to try and unpick the rest of the defence.
Well, South Africa have made changes. England are yet to do that. We'll perhaps look at all the players on show. Line-out is good. It comes down to Hinkley. Hinkley's got it. They try and form a wedge of their own, England. South Africa are able to deal with it, though.
Brilliant from South Africa, because actually they went down, they had bodies on the floor, and then the rest of the South African pack dragged England over top of those bodies. There's only one way that's going to go, is down.
It's the midfield. Dingwall trying to unlock the door. And good body position over the ball from South Africa, slows it down. It doesn't get the ball back, but England are held. Oh, great. He can't do much. South Africa have the bit between their teeth at the moment. Again, they are stopped, England. A little bit of space out here on the right-hand side, and Seabrook is going to charge back in field, cut against the grain. White. Grayson picks out Kapuku. 6'5" already, Joel Kapuku. And a penalty coming. This is better from England. Better build, better sort of form.
5 minutes to go into the corner.
8 move first.
You're not going to learn much if you just go for a 3 point. I know you want to win this game, but you put this into the corner. You've got a little bit of momentum going. Grayson listens to me, or listens to his coach, or just listens to himself, or the captain perhaps. But it is the right call, as long as O'Gray hits double top.
James Grayson with an earpiece in, and Darry Morris hotline.
I don't think he'd listen to what I said. But this is good for him. You know, it's been good from the box, though. They've really come to play, and they've come to roll their sleeves up, which they've done. Now England just before half-time, 4 minutes to go.
And South Africa turn it over and kick it downfield, and there's a bit of space. And they will go back. Seabrook will go back and tidy this one up. Partner's there to try and help him out, but Seabrook keeps it close. Frustrating.
That's a great chase again from South Africa. Up to the 10-metre line, England have got to start again. And O'Gray's great around the field, but you've got to you've got to nail your darts. You've got to get your javelins in. And to the right man.
White looks as though he's put a guard in place, and he will kick the ball up, and there'll be a chase from Seabrook. They'll put pressure on Creel. Should I say no? It's Green out there on the left wing. My mistake. Oh, but a bit of mistake from South Africa, and almost in behind, but a tackle without the ball.
It was either tackle without the ball or no arms tackle, but again, South Africa will just canter up to this one.
No arms tackle from the referee there. You're quite right, Dowie. And you would have thought that South Africa will be really quite pleased with their first 40.
I think the two coaches, Roux and Kuhn, will be delighted, absolutely delighted, because they've actually brought the physical to England throughout the Six Nations, and historically through World Cups, England have always got big boys, and they know what to do. You know, they've got good lads, but they've come to play, and they've come to really give England a hard time, and that's reflected on the scoreboard, 14-7, and they're worthy of it, very worthy of that lead. And now they'll just want to take the clock down. If they can get another 3 points through a pen, they'll take it.
Oh, they'll form a rolling maul.
3 out, 3 back.
Daniel Eust is there.
Here's the penalty.
Crew has spilt it, but it's a penalty coming. And I would have thought Gianni Lombard will tiptoe forward and whisper. Morat, the captain, is doing just that. I think they will. 3 points.
So
exactly what you said.
Well, of course, yes. No, but it's the right thing to do, because you could go into the corner and you miss that opportunity. The percentage call, the percentage kick is this guy to get another 3 points. That puts him up to 17, 10 points ahead. Clock kicking down for half time. That's a very good first 40 minutes if this goes. It's a good 40 minutes anyway, but if this goes over, it's been an excellent 40 for the Bokke.
Gianni Lombard from the Paarl Boys School. There's two boys' schools. Paarl, the gymnasium, perhaps has produced some of the more recent Springboks, but here is Gianni Lombard doing a little piece for the boys' school. He just pushes it wide, but even though the net gain is still there, a minute left in the half. Just a little bit unlucky, but as you say, the percentage play is that.
I think that was the right call, or is the wrong kick. But again, England have got to restart. They've got to kick out unless they're going to do something fancy, which I don't think they probably will. Grayson will go big time downtown. He might give Loader a chance to chase this one, get it up in the air. That's pretty good.
Grayson almost kicking like his dad. Number 5, Ben Jason Dixon for South Africa, who's had a good half. And so has this South African backline, but it's well dealt with by England there. Pretorius
Ball's available.
tries to scramble and get the ball, and out it comes. Good work from Seville. And a little bit of space out here on the left-hand side. If they can find him, Dingwall puts the kick through, bounces into touch. Loader is scurrying after it.
Wrong option.
Go to touch. Yeah, I was going to say, was that the wrong option?
Well, again, if England nick it, they'll do well. But the South African lineup has been pretty robust and secure all night. It's gone into the red. You need to keep that ball in. You need to keep that ball in, not kick it away. Seville does well. There's a bit of a mix-up in the turnover. Now it's on. It goes. Players on the outside. You can see South Africa scrambling. Just you give the loader back inside ball to come back into your forwards and keep that ball alive.
Can England pilfer this one? It would take the shine off it for South Africa, but no, the numbers are correct and the liner is good. And Rivan Kriya will kick the ball into touch, and we're around our 40 minutes that the junior box will be pleased with. That is a good half of rugby as far as they're concerned. England, mistakes perhaps have been frustrating, but you can't take anything away from the junior box.
No, I mean they've caused England a lot of problems. It's exactly what Steve Bates, he wouldn't want to reflect that in the scoreline, but actually asking his players a lot of questions, and this is what he's got to learn from the 28 that he's going to take to France. Can they get him out of trouble? Can they turn this game around?
So that's it. It's poised at half-time. The junior box in front. We will go to a break. England 7, junior box 14. Well, welcome back to the West Midlands, welcome back to Worcester, and it is some really good England under-20 junior Springbok rugby that's going on here. It is raining, but that's not dampening the spirits of these players or these people who have made their way out. I'll get my words out in the end, Dowie.
Sure, that chocolate I gave you at half time, mate. Don't worry. My fault.
But here we go. Let's have a look at these tries, and really, the story of the first half has been about seeing a team like the Springboks, the junior Springboks, who are in gear. They are doing what they need to do.
Yeah, England are in about first/second at the moment. These boys are in third to fourth, because what's happening, all the forwards coming around the corner are doing the damage, and then when they say pull the trigger, off they go. This guy's really impressed me, Pretorius. A good inside centre, very strong carrying the ball, but again, just the ability to hold the England defence to allow Creel to go into the corner. Well worked try, great start.
It was, and South Africa certainly hitting their stride, and they played matches in the last week. They were there last Saturday and then Tuesday against Wales, and just that fluency sort of coming to the fore at the moment at Sixways. The England try, it was well taken, opportunist, and England haven't had much of that in this first
actually,
half.
it's the first time sort of this guy Loder's had some space. Parton sees that early. He shouldn't really score this try, but he does. He doesn't give up. He keeps his legs pumping. South Africa go a little bit high, but again, that is a very, very good finish. You can see the celebration from the England lads, because they had got areas of the game where they were pretty good, and then they were just let down with their precision. This is just brute strength, total dedication, and that's a good winger. He is a fantastic finisher, and that's what is bread and butter for him, but it takes some doing. But England, again, I think their own worst enemies. They were getting into positions and not being able to finish, or dropping a ball, or giving a stupid penalty away for an infringement or off the ball incident. This time, again, it was sheer determination from Loder, and just what England needed.
England certainly needing this game. Their next game isn't till at the end of May, so an opportunity to get out. South Africa have been on tour, a little mini tour of the UK, and this man, Rivan Kriya, looking good and knitting things together as all good scrum halves would do.
A bit like Ruan Pienaar, actually, as well. He's not dissimilar, but again, it was good work. But this is where all these guys on the floor are doing the damage. It's the South African, basically, it's their packer forwards that are doing it. This time he sees a wee little gap and he's through. Like any good nine, just sniffing that try line, helped by his half-back partner to get it over. But again, all the damage, and the story has been from this first half, and I'm sure Richard Blaze is in the changing room talking about how do we stop the South African rolling more, and if they have to stop it, if they don't stop it, they won't win this game.
Those tries don't perhaps tell the other tale, which is the fact that when England have made ground, they've quickly, through mistakes, lost it again, and that's been a little bit of the theme of what's been happening.
There is probably a little bit of hangover from the Six Nations when they did so well. In my eyes, they were the better side, but France just nipped them. But again, they haven't had that much rugby, obviously, since. Steve Bates has got in his mind the 28 what he wants to take to France for the Junior World Cup. But again, the things aren't going to plan. He wants now a reaction in the next 40 minutes to sort of put themselves ahead on the scoreboard, but actually try and stop South Africa. They're going to come up against some big guys and some big teams in that Junior World Cup.
And you mentioned Richard Blaze there, and really this rolling more from South Africa does need to get stopped. How on earth do you do it? I mean, perhaps it's a difficult question for you to sort of put forward. But how do you stop a rolling maul that's so effective?
You've got to back yourself first. When you try and get to work out where that ball's going, so you're putting pressure on the hooker, you're putting pressure on the jumper. As soon as that guy comes down, you can actually roll him to the floor. One person can roll him to the floor. Or secondly, I'm not a great fan of this, is don't oppose the liner in the air. You just stay down, you stay set, and as soon as he comes down, you hit almost like an 8-man. But again, Richard Blaze is vastly experienced, more experienced obviously in the lineup, but they're going to have to sort this out, because they'll come against the big boys. They'll come against France, who've got a good pack. They'll come against New Zealand, who are very, very bright when it comes to doing things from line out. So again, it's a great test, and it'll be very interesting for the first line out to see what's going to happen from an England point of view.
Well, England's Junior World Cup group contains the likes of Italy, Scotland, but their first game is against Argentina, and that will be a test.
Argentina are excellent, and they're very well coached at that level, but again, they will be very strong at scrum time and at line-out time. Look, it's still a fact that actually you've got the piano players and the piano shifters, and unless they change the rules about what happens with mauls or scrums, you still need your front five fatters. You do. You need these guys to give you the platform and then get around the field. It's a modern game now where props can handle the ball and tackle and almost be like, back row forwards around the field. But the main art is catching in the liner, pushing in the scrums, and actually causing defences problems. And these boys, Murat is leading them at the moment. He's causing England lots of problems.
Well, South Africa's group, I can't pick it really. They've got Georgia to play in Perpignan, and then they play Ireland, and then the host France in Narbonne. That's a tricky group.
It'll be bouncy when they play France. They love their women's rugby. They love the rugby, obviously, but women's rugby was vastly supported over there when they had the World Cup. And then equally, now they've got the Under-20s Championship down there. It's a fantastic place. I am jealous. It is a fantastic area to go down. Béziers, Narbonne, Perpignan, all these places. It's going to be thumping and bumping down there. But yeah, that is a hard group.
I would go down there and just hang around, Dowie. You'll get a job. Somebody will hand you a microphone at some stage.
Apparently there's some nice cheese and some cassoulet and some Van Roosty Voupe and all those things that make rugby watching a pleasure.
There we are, back out. James Grayson has the ball bouncing on the halfway line. Our referee, Elgin Williams from Wales, will get us back underway. It is for England to do. This home crowd will not want to see any England side lose. Forward they come, the rain still coming down, and there have been some substitution, a little bit of space here. Lawrence gets an early show of the ball, and this is the impressive David Kurtzer, comes forward with it for South Africa. A little bit of an opportunity again for England. I can see that we have Painter on the field as well as Henry Walker, Gloucester man. He should make a little bit of an impact. Kurtzer into Pretorius. Dowie said at half time, he's played well in this half. Kruger bouncing through. Grayson looking field, big looping pass to Parton, and Parton is on his motorbike into the midfield. He has to put on the brakes and come back the other way.
That's fine. He comes looking for his forwards. They recycle and off they go again.
And White is off, and I can see Rory Brand is on, this impressive London Irish scrum half. England come down the right side. There seems a little bit more alacrity to England's play at the moment. Just about well picked out there. Thought I'd put the curse on them. South Africa come through. England just about get hold of it. Brand will feed Grayson. Grayson will feed Parton. A bit of space out wide, and here they go again. Lawrence, man named in the England Brighton camp next week, with be rubbing shoulders with the likes of George Ford and Ben Teo. Out to the other wing, Seabrook this time, but has it gone forward? Big tackle comes in from Tyrone Green there.
It was Josh Basham, London Irish player, unfortunately getting involved, but it's a great restart again. England putting a lot of pressure. It was on Dixon there, coming forward for the ball, and then just popping the ball out and off they go, and then just dropping it from... It was Lawrence, wasn't it? And this guy cuts it. I tell you, he can play.
I think Lawrence has moved to the wing, and we've got Luke James who's come into the midfield.
Absolutely right. It's a good job you're here, I tell you. But you can't miss Lawrence. He's got fantastic orange boots over there, and they're just twinkling under the.
Well, Luke James is no stranger to big occasions. He's already in the Sale Sharks Premiership side occasionally. Brother Sam, his brother, somebody that England fans have mentioned.
Well, he's a big lad, isn't he, Luke James? 6'4".
Well, they're all big out there to me, to be fair.
Yeah.
They're all quite large. There's nothing junior about this rugby at the moment. You say, Basham is on. And the big man, two big men, Toby Trinder and Aaron Painter are both on as well. So a front row change for England in this second half. And this is where South Africa was so effective, the line out. And that's built, and England do what South Africa did. And the work of Aaron Hinckley upended eventually. Brand fires the ball out. They've got to be quick. Pretorius comes through on Grayson. And Seabrook has got to be careful. And he gets an absolute faceful of Pretorius, making a nuisance of himself again. But it's just seems to have changed all of a sudden. England are getting the breaks.
They put a bit of pressure on the South African line out there. Kapuka got up right at 2 to try and get in the way of people, and it worked. They overthrow it. It was a good breakout. by Hinckley. Again, there will be harsh words being spoken at half-time. Just, come on, you're not performing well. You know, this is probably the worst 40 I've seen England perform throughout the Six Nations. So, yeah, plenty to work on, but they knew that. It's whether they can fix it on the hoof.
Well, the back row looks like it's Ted Hill, Hinckley, and Basham is actually playing at 8.
Oh, and against the head.
Against the head, a rarity. I have to go back, and there's a penalty coming. Scrum half crew, I thought had spilt the ball.
He did, but the penalty had come from them going up. England had to go up there because they were going back. They'd lost it. So that's what happens when you're starting to get a struggle. And Lombard goes for it's not a long-range kick at all. It's well within his capabilities on the 10-metre line, but he did miss that one just before the half-time whistle. So hopefully that doesn't impact on his on the way he goes about his kicking and his procedures and all the pressure that tends to build up after you've just missed a kick. So,
well, my man in South Africa, Benedict Chanakira, he likes the look of Gianni Lombard. Sees him as a future Lion. You can see why. Certainly if he can knock this sort of kick over on a regular basis, he's going to be useful to any rugby side. He's pushed it. Again, commentators curse. Maybe trying a little bit too hard with that one.
Possibly, but he didn't really strike it, did it? It was always coming off the right side of his boot. He didn't particularly kick well against Wales. And again, if you are going to be a frontline kicker, you have to nudge, 80-85% at any level, really. If you are going to be, you're seriously in contention in most games if you've got a kicker that can do that for you.
Grayson with a big kick, which is gobbled up by Lawrence on the left wing. He's done well there. Came right out of the ether. And South Africa have got another line out. Well, you mentioned how they dealt with it early, put the pressure on here. It'll be interesting to see what the approach from England is here. It's a 6-man line out, I think. If that was the call? No, it can't be because there's no one back. It's a full line out.
England out the gap, take the line.
More discussion there. Salman Morat with 4 on his back, captaining the junior box. He goes up, ball goes over the top, seems to have missed people. Sazi Sandy gathers it up and gallops upfield.
Ball clear, leave go.
Again, more good work over the ball, just slightly slows it down for the junior box. Into the midfield they come through Skulk Erasmus.
South Africa's trapping, play on.
Clear into Dixon. Go the same way to the box, and lovely hands from Similani. Down the left hand wing goes Green. Can he make it work? Ball is bouncing around.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Oh, knocked on or taken back by England.
That's a fantastic bit of skill from Green though, wasn't it? Tyrone Green, again, he had hardly any space. A lovely pass from Similani. And then we had no other way he could do it. He just popped the ball through, and that's good covering from the scrum half Brand.
He is a ball player, Tyrone Green. Can play at 10 or 15 on the wing this evening.
Well, you could see that, couldn't you? The way he just dropped that ball on his foot, and it was just lovely. And then a bit of pace, and well done for Brand coming across to save the day, because that was a certain drive he had.
Important scrum here now, lads.
More changes. There will be a few. A lot of people to look at in a serious serious reckoning this evening. England make their squad selections very soon. And a penalty goes for the home side, and big cheer comes from the players as well as the crowd.
That's the one, Aaron. Let's go, boy. That's the one.
And Grayson's got the ball, and he will try and relieve some of this pressure. Kick it up towards us at halfway. This is better from England.
Look, they've obviously talked about things in the changing room and done things, but you can see the potential, especially of Green. That was tremendous pace. I haven't seen too much of this lad, but I think I'm going to see a lot more.
How many?
But again, it's just the areas you're playing in. Yes, they got out of jail there, got a penalty from the scrum. Now this is the crucial thing. Walker's on. Henry Walker from Gloucester, associated with the Gloucester club.
Walker lost it at the top of the line out, and Macbeth has snaffled it and grabbed a few extra yards and just about got the back to clear. Flat running. The offload there from Uys.
No, it's great, powerful rugby from the baby box. They're just using the big forwards, one out.
Kurtzer thinks about it and then comes back the other way. This is good, strong defence from England. They're coming out hard and fast at South Africa. Obviously the noise at half-time was all about that. Clear. Again, big work from Steenkamp.
You step back.
Very physical player, PJ Steenkamp. They representing the Lions this evening. South African franchise. Oh, more good hands from Similani. Again, Green involved. Similani with just a couple of neat little moments of late. Wandisile Similani doing well. Forward England come. Keeping it relatively close. Brand will go in and look for it.
Outside.
The up and under from Brand isn't going to go out, and it's Green again, that shock of blonde hair. He finds Lombard. Lombard spies a bit of open acreage out on the right-hand side. That's a hell of a kick. Really good.
You're 7 points up. Your forwards are doing very, very well out there every time they get their hands on the ball. And you make the right decision, especially back three. Boy, this lad Loader did it then. You're right, he's missed 2 penalties. But that hasn't affected his vision. He just scanned up, looked out, look where England weren't, and put a beautiful kick into the corner. And it just now puts more pressure on those England forwards, puts more pressure on the England hooker Walker to get his throw right.
Set him off you, please.
Who's up, mate?
Gianni Lombard, the man at 15. Putting South Africa in exactly the right position. Forward comes Steenkamp and then thinks lesser of it, goes back, but down comes Sam Lewis with the ball. England will play with it and try and get a better field position with which to clear their lines. Oh, a bit of miscommunication. Grayson's in a little bit of trouble. He does have to do very well. Grayson scampers out. He was down a rabbit hole then.
And this is the nuts and bolts again. You're putting yourself under a lot of pressure. There's too many forwards there just getting in the way or not quite standing in the way, and this is what happens when a side is rusty. There's no substitute for playing, obviously a top team like South Africa. You see all forwards are in the way. They can read that. Reeve Korea absolutely read it, and it's Schooners just push him into, and now they've got the ball, now they've got the line out, and now they've got another chance for a try.
Well, this will be interesting. Can England deal with South Africa from this close to their line? Steenkamp comes down with it. The first bit is in position. Maul is formed. They roll. England are going to have to do very well to stop this. So successful in the first half. Skalk Erasmus, the door opens, Erasmus is over. Well, it perhaps wasn't as straightforward. Skalk Erasmus had to make it work, and he did just that. The young man from Western Province, highly mobile, I was told before the game. He showed his mobility then.
He showed his mobility, but again, it's the other 6-7 forwards in front of him that do all the hard work. That is not easy. Just to keep your legs pumping, it's very painful. The celebrations can start, maybe not for the result of this game. We'll have to see. They're still in the balance, but I tell you what, that is well worked. Superb kick from the fullback Lombard. Put him into the position first. Pressure on. A bad decision again from England defensively with the exit strategy. South Africa just doing what they did in that first half. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as I said. Go to the corner, go to your big forwards, and the hooker scores the try.
A lot of food for thought, and Lombard misses again. He is not having a good day at the office with the boot, but nevertheless, the teammates and try-scoring exploits of the junior box in fine fettle at the moment.
Talking to the referee all the way through. He's telling people to get out of there, telling people, yeah, you're okay to stay in there. The one person that's making those conversations is Erasmus. Erasmus the hooker. Does superbly well.
Here comes Steenkamp again. Never been too far away from the ball as PJ Steenkamp this evening.
Second South Africa.
And a knock on, which is going to give the ball back to South Africa. I think from the restart we didn't quite see it.
No advantage.
A little bit of a let off there.
It's just bouncing South Africa's way, but they're actually making it bounce away. When their forwards carry the ball, they carry it with a bit of venom, always trying to get their arms out and get ahead and just look for gaps rather into people. They look for gaps. Cotsey, I like him at number 10. He's always chops in and looking around. He's got a big unit there. You can see Victorious inside, and I love your inside centre who just does a job for you, because you can either use him or not use him, and then gives other people a chance, like Lombard to come in the line. I think there's a good combination there.
I won't be the first to say this, but if we have another look at Coetzee, he does remind me of a sort of Brent Russell player.
Yeah.
He's kind of sideways, that sort of build as well.
Fleet of foot, you could say a bit of Johnny Wilkinson in, because he's hitting everybody that's going down there if he can get to them. He likes the physical, is what he has, but he's got some great feet, he's got some good vision, he's got a great service.
Hips attached.
They're a good half-back combination.
He's orchestrating things well, and Krier has played his part in just managing this this big pack around the park. They'll have to. England have got things to think about. Certainly 25 minutes left. And, a few youngsters, an opportunity for the youngsters to come along and get pretty close to what are becoming quite famous rugby players in their own right. England under 20s. Often see them on Saturday afternoons in whether it be Anglo-Welsh or even Premiership rugby. And that's another good kick which forces partner to go back, and partner's praying for this to make its way over the line. Does, but again the net gain is quite a good one for South Africa. They'll have that.
They're in the box position at the moment, because again, if you are going to exit long, and all of a sudden now England are going to restart. So it's a nice position for South Africa to be in. Now England, can they get themselves out of it? Can they cause a few problems? They're going to have to get some passages of play together, and their forwards have to start doing some damage.
Who's going to get England out of this hole? Who's going to stand up and make a difference in this closing quarter? South Africa through the work of Zazi Zandi. Again, asking questions of England's defence. Morat. Again, Coetzee. Lombard, look at him stepping. He goes. And Gianni Lombard just showing the fleet of foot that we hoped he would do there. Real tin opener stuff from Lombard. And there's Green as well, never too far away from things. Tyrone Green places the ball back. South Africa are probing again. Big long ball out wide. And it's the big man Buthelezi, I think it is. Or is it?
No, it's Buthelezi.
Buthelezi.
They changed shirts 20 and 19, did change.
So, bit of opportunity for here. This is Lombard.
It's a lovely ball back inside. He's not dying with it. And look at that. That is a phone box, isn't it? He's dancing outside a phone box, inside a phone box even.
And he's making phone calls at the same time.
I like it. Yeah, long distance as well, all the way to South Africa. But that's great play, because what is happening then is always someone in support from South Africa. They're waiting for him to make that decision. Off you go. This guy's played well. I tell you what, the big prop there, Sandy Sazi, mate, take a bow. You have scrummed well. You've given everything. He's carried superbly. He's defended well, and also he's been really at the core of those catch and drives all the time.
And Erasmus, Erasmus has played well as well. England going to try and build from their own 22.
Push, pillar.
Which they can do. All they need to do is keep hold of the ball. But I think, they're just going to...
Brand to the right boot of Grayson. It's a quick line-up. And here goes Lombard again. Those snake hips of his sizzling. Neat little kick as well. He's growing. He's missed a few kicks at goal, but I tell you what, he's the marionette strings are being twirled around the fingers.
It's not affected him at all, has it? As far, because that is his game.
Nice gap at the front.
Big isn't always the best thing when you've got somebody who can dance around and has the vision. And again, it's South Africa. England wanted to use the exit with a kick. It should have gone into Rosette and then put some pressure on the line. It didn't. It was too long, so they're able to take a quick throw. And then what do? You just put your toe on it because you're 12 points up.
Better from England at the line-out. Down comes Sam Lewis with the ball. But they are in their own 22.
It's okay as long as you can hold the ball. Give South Africa a taste of the medicine here. Brands is in charge. What's he going to do with this? He's probably boxing.
Always in.
In and out. And Krier will
off they go
take
again.
A quick one. Lombard again, that boot of his. But this time it finds the welcome grasp of Parton inside. Keeps it alive. Seabrook comes back in field.
Don't cut 11 out. Leave it on.
South Africa just counter-rucking effectively
really
there,
got
just
it, didn't they?
slowing it down. There's a little bit of speed there for England to work with. More big hits, 2 or 3 at a time. They have to deal with the big figure of Joel Kapuku. South Africa come through, but they'll be penalised. Dan Eust will have to retreat. Again, it's the likes of Parton just releasing a bit of pressure with that sort of offensive line charge, and it just allows them. And South Africa just slowing it down and making it difficult.
They're very committed in the defensive. They change superbly well from attack to defence, and when they go in, in threes there, they can see Kapuka taking the ball. But yeah, actually England did pretty well on that chase. It did actually force Lombard to actually just speed his kick up a bit and then give England a chance. Now this is the area they want to be in, and I'd use these boys, just get that ball in, catch and drive, and then just go one around the corner and try and suck South Africa in.
Henry Walker with the line out. Oh, and it's just about gathered. Walker tidies it up himself. Henry Walker curls round and into the midfield. Season at Cinderford. And if you play at Cinderford, you know how to play hard, I tell you.
And play one out. That's the trouble. He's far too high, Kabuka there, and all the momentum.
South Africa have got to clear themselves out of it. All right, though, it's slow ball for England to work with. Grayson got the keys in his hand, trying to find the way through. Brand again, good. Dingwall holds on to the ball. Haven't seen a huge amount from Fraser Dingwall this half, but that's better. Grayson into Trinder. Big lads getting involved in the midfield. Keep the ball, you're thinking, for England. Brand almost through. Snagged and has to place the ball back. They go the same way to England. Grayson, one out. Lovely from Lawrence. Can he make it? No, he's pulled down. In touch, I think. The assistant referee's flag is up. Better from England.
Yeah, indeed. But Lawrence there, he just nearly got away again. The crowd, the first time I think this evening, were right on the feet because he's a local lad. He's only 18 years of age. Is this Lawrence? You can't miss him with his orange yellow boots. But he just, again, good scrambling defence from South Africa. I think somebody's possibly in the act of stopping a try. But again, good communication. Grayson sees it, pops the ball out, misses 2 players out. And there you go, and it's Coetzee. He's done something to his bicep, I believe.
Looks reacting pretty nastily to that.
Yeah.
But Ollie Lawrence, at Bromsgrove School, still doing his A-levels. Little tap on the shoulder this week to say, how do you fancy going training at Brighton College with Eddie Jones? Fancy walking into your A-level? A little bit. I know Cam Redpath up at Sedbergh had the same thing. Buzz on his phone in English. You're going to South Africa this summer. It's incredible stuff.
It is fantastic. I'll have to ring his dad up, see what he feels about that. But no, Cam's a good boy. He's born in England and he deserves his chance. He's a special talent. So
I think this is the water break that we have as well.
It is
doubled up. That injury has allowed a bit of a break. We're playing 20 minutes tonight. Grayson out to Lawrence, and it just seems to be flowing just a little bit more for England, and they're sort of growing. You can see the players actually growing in confidence. The processes seem to be being played through far more effectively.
Yeah, I think they've just got to take a leaf out of what South Africa are doing, using their big forwards. Sometimes the England forwards, unfortunately, don't go to the floor early enough. They're trying to get that big hit, and that's credit to South Africa's defence. They're holding them up, and then the momentum breaks down. For a scrum half, if you can just get that momentum up, everything comes around, and that big wave starts happening. And South Africa do it very well on their ball when they're attacking, but equally defensively, they've been able to stop England. Now, this is a great opportunity. England really do need to score.
Put some
pressure on, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, the lineup comes down. Ruan Nortje comes down with it. Just about South Africa make the wedge fall. Aaron Painter's trying to make a nuisance of himself. The large number 18 there. Only 23 stone, Aaron Painter. More stone than he is years. I've never been more stone than I am years. I don't think.
We're not going there with weight.
There you go.
For the last quarter now.
This is number 23, Nyezula. Now he is quick, so you're interested to see if they can get the ball out to him on the left wing. But England have it. Willis is back on the field. Grayson brings in Lawrence. Lawrence one-on-one, the little offload there, and it doesn't go to hand. And bit of a story of the night.
It is. and it's gone forward from an England hand first. But again, that lad has just come on.
Bit of space for
Unjazula came out. Just watch what happens. He puts the pressure. He jumps out of his line, and that's good defence. It's Lombard. It goes forward there. And it is a first. Well, it's from Parton. Knocks that ball forward again, so South Africa can go back to a place of safety, a haven that's been pretty good there. As Raven Kriya gets to put this ball in.
Unjazula a little bit previous, a little bit keen. You can understand. It's tall for these young lads. Over some of them, 80% of them, I think, never been out of South Africa before to come to the UK.
We talked to the coach, didn't we, Chianru, and he said it's great. It's all about learning the skills of growing up, in a sense, of being together. And you're in a changing room, you tidy up the changing room. You don't leave bottles and all sorts on the floor. You respect people, like team rooms, whatever. And it is good because they are going to go. Under 20 World Cup, Junior World Cup in France. It's going to be a different environment. I'll tell you what, if they carry on playing like this, they've showed tremendous spirit and heart, South Africa. Just waiting for England really just to heat things up, and they really need to now. 12 points adrift.
Good pressure coming through the scrum this time, and they're rewarded much better. Oh, Mr. Blaze will be happy with that.
Yeah, he'd be even happier if they go into the corner now, catch and drive and go over.
A little bit of the...
I think they need more than 3.
The Trinder Painter axis work in there. They're going into the corner. It's Sam Morley, the extra man is on, who's kicked to the corner. And this is what you wanted, Dowie.
Absolutely, you do as a coach. I'm sure the Speckies don't. The Specky wanted to be 40 odd points up. That was never going to happen. But Morley's got experience with Exeter Chiefs, obviously the Anglo-Welsh, so you can again need all that experience these guys have garnered in their sort of upbringing to get themselves out of this big hole.
And the wedges form. Better from England. The rather large black grand piano is making its way over the line. Just what the doctor ordered from England. Just the sort of forwards dominance that has been missing. And I think it is Henry Walker who comes up with the ball.
I think it is. He's got the ball. He doesn't. You want to make sure the cameramen get hold of him, but that's good play again. As Erasmus scored for South Africa, it's the guys the other side 7 in front of him doing all the hard work and the hard yakka, because again it's the first time the England forward said, right, okay, if we are going to win this game, we'll get back into it. We've got to do this. You've got Tom Seabrook adding his considerable weight into there. Oh, look at that! So you don't want to do that, Tom. He's
damaged. He's dangerous in the forwards.
He's dislocated an eyelash there, getting involved with the forwards. But let's be serious. No, that's exactly what England wanted. You go into the corner, you catch that ball, and you add some ferocity in your game.
Body positions, it's simple. Just look. They look.
You get it right.
They look like South Africa in the first half.
You get it right. It's unstoppable.
Yeah, and Morley is going to try and add the extra points with his left boot. From the Whitgift School, produced the likes of Danny Cipriani, Elliot Daly. It's a good production line, of course, that school. This is an under-20 debut, and it's off the post. Could be crucial.
Would have been nice, but never mind. There's still plenty of time, as long as his forwards can replicate this time and again. And maybe now you think the South Africans with that sort of quick turnaround from Tuesday night and the game before, but again this is what will happen in the Junior World Cup. Maybe their legs are getting a little bit tired because they've put in a great shift so far.
Kurtzer restarts and forward flies in Jadzula. South Africa have got the ball and they pour through. A little bit of opportunity. Steenkamp has been a big part of this South African offensive and defensive line. South Africa again come through. England having to scramble at the moment. Body position good. Turnover good. Sam Willis, I think it is, doing some lovely work.
Hold on.
Needed to. Again, South Africa look a dangerous animal every time they carry that ball. You've got that big lad Steenkamp, of course. In South Africa, a 7 is not a 7 as we see in the rest of the world. It's a 6. It's a blindside flanker. He's a big unit, and he's causing a bit of serious carnage out there. But England again just doing well, turning that ball over. They need to do more of that, creep down the pitch.
Steenkamp, a name in South Africa with strong sporting lineage, certainly made an impression on this game.
Well, Sorry,
Hands off, gents.
sorry.
No, I was going to say just little attention being called here for one of the players.
Yeah, and that's all we should do. Shouldn't rush all these things. But into the starting pack, there was 6 from Western Province, so that's you could see how good, and obviously these guys have played together a heck of a lot, and that was evident.
Well, we enter the last knockings of this game. England certainly on the front foot at the moment, and as you say, Dowie, just those games on Tuesday and last Saturday perhaps might well play a part. England perhaps a little bit fresher.
The scrum half day is done.
It is. It's Cruitt who's coming off. He's played well.
He has. He's had a good unit to play off the back, but again, he's been sharp. His decision making with Kotze when he was on was outstanding. Well, he's still on, obviously, but now he's gone. That's been very, very good combinations, and that's what you need at any level. Is good combinations working, centres working well.
That's lovely interplay by England in the midfield, and I was going to say almost gets through, but Similani has done exceptionally well to stop that.
Mate, there's one guy doing session. You got that big lad again, number 12, Pretorius. That is outstanding. Similani did well. Combination, we're just talking about half-back combinations, centre combinations. Those two sniffed it out straight away. As soon as that movement broke down, in a sense. And England, I think, one of the criticisms that they're trying to stay up and they're trying to be robust. They're not physical enough. They've really got to work hard to get out of those sort of bear hugs.
I'm not sure the backs move actually broke down, as much as they read it so well.
Again,
they were into their faces before they knew it.
The rush defence or the smash defence, whatever, it is working. And again, what are you going to do to combat that symptom? Is just take a yard back. Take a yard back and wait for them to jump out of the line. If they do, boom, move the ball quicker.
Jack Hart is our new junior box scrum half. Feed this scrummage. A lot of noise being made. And England got it against the head. Brand will allow Grayson to play. Dingwall using his strength. Oh no, my mistake. Wasn't Dingwall at all. Luke James doing well there in the centre. 2 big men.
Him again.
It's Pretorius again.
He causes all sorts of problems. He's more than a battering ram 12. He read that defensively superbly. He chased him across the field.
Grayson and friends making their way from the field. Well, this would be an important 10 minutes. I mean, obviously a loss tonight is not the end by any stretch of the imagination, but it's about momentum. South Africa will take a huge amount from the win.
They will. They've been on the sort of receiving end of a couple of defeats at this age group throughout, and they said their record wasn't great coming into this game. If they could nick this one and go back home with 3 wins, that would be something, especially the win against England. You know, this is a very good England outfit, very powerful outfit, and Bokker have come in with a good game plan, a very physical game plan, but you always get that when you play South Africa. But again, it's been a skillful approach as well, so still plenty of time, still 12 minutes for England, but they started well in the scrum in the second half. Can they carry that on to put a bit of pressure on?
More pressure comes through, but South Africa get rid of it. Jack Hart into Pretorius, into Schoonies. Schoonies buys about 5 more extra yards. Thought he should have been brought down there. Kurtzer almost called him Brent Russell then. Kurtzer out. And South Africa again, quick ball. Jack Hart. Again, they're probing our South Africa, the junior box again. Quick ball. Similani trying to get away from his defender. And here comes Murat, the captain of this junior box side. Impressive outing in Worcester at the moment. Muntalabakanye carries well. There's Joost.
You can hear from the sideline the Big D's been called from England. The big defensive line needs to be up and at them. But again, it's good retention from South Africa. And what they're using Lombard as a second receiver as well. So there's a lot of distribution going on there, and the forwards can pick angles and lines off them. But England again, at least get the put in.
Let's have a look at this is Unja Zula. Now have a look at this. Oh, there we go.
Perfectly okay. 10 minutes then.
Big 10 minutes for England. something this. A better line-up position.
Maul.
Stronger, and the maul is called. And again, the body positions are better, and they're able to creep forward.
Keep it up.
Referee communicating.
England 17 out.
He's allowing them to go again. I thought he might ask them to use it. England in black creep forward.
But it's what they want to do from here, because the clock is ticking down and they really need to explode from here. Walker's got it at the back. I don't think Brandy's going to box kick this. They're keeping the ball, which is good. They're marching forward, but they really need to start to create stuff.
Walker, it's going sideways. Now he gives Brand the ball, but a hand in there.
Play on, Milton.
Stops it. Seabrook has to try and make it good. And they've gone backwards. All that space that they made, all that yardage, has come away. Morley into Luke James.
Tackle, release.
James, and there's a tackle that's called, so they have to release him. Thought they'd gone in for the pincer movement there. We're going to hold him up again. Kapuku just lost the ball, and Pretorius will come forward with it. South Africa will sniff something here, and here's the speedster in Jezula. Jack Hart, Steenkamp again, carrying well, supported by Nortje. Parton clear and almost comes and hits Dowie in the face.
Had it covered. But again, South Africa will be quite happy with that, kicking the ball away. Or England, they've got to put into the scrum, put into the line out. Confused with scrums and line-outs, yeah?
A few running repairs, and I think Kutza has gone down again. He's in the wars at the moment.
That's quite good from the fly half, though. He knows there's going to be a drop. Obviously, just take it down. I don't think he's that seriously, and I hope he's not that seriously injured, but again, he's given his forwards a chance. This is all about the gamesmanship that you have to apply. This would be a tremendous win for South Africa. 8 minutes to go, just under. They're just regrouping now. They were a good bunch when they were coming off the field after the warm-up. Beginning of the game, they were singing their songs and they were having a really vibrant sort of, just great warm-up, and it was nice to hear.
Well, we're getting to that stage, certainly 72, 73 minutes on the clock. We've got to start thinking about a man of the match this evening. Give that thought to you, Dowie. Not now, but perhaps a few minutes. I know there's a few guys we've mentioned quite a bit on the South African side.
Well, if the score says the same, it'll be from South Africa. Even if England do nick it, I think it's going to be a South African. I will let you know in about 5 minutes. But again,
up goes the South African line out. It's scrappy. They're going to have to try and clear it up. They do just about. Only give the ball really to England.
That's okay though. England at least got something to go on from there. They really did cram South Africa in and they put pressure on, and that's what they needed to do from the off, really, and they didn't. They allowed it. It was too easy ball for South Africa to take. Now, can they launch something? They need to. What have they got? 2, 4, 5-man, 6, and 5-man. The scrum half Brand is in. Goes, and now we go.
Into midfield they come. James picking the runners. South Africa seem to shut that door though. Brand again. Good footwork from Morley. Extra think good things about Sam Morley. You can see there just the cleverness, the fleet of foot. But England need to recycle this. Not South Africa have. And the little boot through means that England a turn. Parton has to come back.
Great pass.
It's good off the left hand, but South Africa come forward and shut the door on James. Penalty coming for England, but they're a long way back from where they started. This is good from South Africa. The junior box doing well without the ball, and that's usually the sign of a good side.
It's actually probably more important sometimes, the defensive line, and it's everyone sticking to the script. That's what's happening there, and they're hunting down tackles. I can't remember many tackles being slipped off or missed by the Bokke, and that's testament to obviously to the good coaching that they've had and the commitment of these guys, the heart that they're showing. Now England really need 5 minutes to go. They need something to happen. I know they're only 7 points ahead, 7 points behind. But they're just lacking a spark. They're just lacking somebody to hold a hand up and just follow me. Come with me. I'm going to smash somebody out the way and make a hole and offload or something. It just hasn't happened.
So then, Dowie, man of the match, what do you reckon? I mean, there's been a few out there, perhaps not so many for the home side, but an impressive performance from the visitors.
I'd go as far that, it'd be very churlish at me or biased to pick someone from England. I don't think anyone's really stuck their hand up at all. But there's plenty of time to work on that for the World Cup. Kotze, the 10 has been outstanding. Steenkamp has been unbelievable at 7, but again, my man of the match is Ricus Pretorius, the number 12. Unbelievable, and there he goes!
Oh, what about that from Dowie Morris? Ricus Pretorius is going to steam in for South Africa, picking the pocket of the England midfield. Oh, it's almost meant to be. You should get a job in script writing, Dowie.
Well, they'll be having a few beers in Western Province tonight, because their forwards have fronted up superbly at the start of the game and almost all through the game, and the inside centre absolutely been phenomenal, carrying the ball defensively, choking the ball, and just on cue he intercepts and wins the game for South Africa. I can't see England coming back from here. I know there's 5 minutes to go, stranger things have happened, but the way the defence have been, the heart that South Africa have shown, and especially that guy, that's why he was my man of the match before he scored the try. He definitely is now.
He is one of the boys from Bloemfontein, Grey College alumni, Ricus Pretorius, and I think he may have just nailed the final moment in the England coffin there. And the junior Springbok player of the match is Ricus Pretorius, rightfully so. He's been looking like doing that. That's not a surprise, is it, that he's been able to pick that up? Because you've mentioned how well he's read the game,
and that's what you need. Your defence has to be almost as good as your attack, because it's a massive part of the game, and he's done that. He's led that defence superbly. He's carried directly. He's obviously got more skills than just being a one-man wrecking ball carrying there, but and he's been the glue almost, I think, that's held this side together. There's been other tremendous performances, but he's been, for me, totally outstanding.
Jack Hart a little bit over exuberant with his kick, and England will get a line out just inside the Springbok half. We had a look at something there, but we'll ignore that.
It's okay.
And
his real age is 32, though. That's the only problem with Pretorius.
He does. I was going to mention. He's very hirsute. And maybe the under-20s these days can grow full beards like that. I'm not sure I could when I was 19, but there you go. England, can they put something together? Here comes Sam Willis. We haven't really spoken about him the way we perhaps should have done this evening. Real prospect. Toby Trinder as well, another man with a future, as all these England under-20s have. Ted Hill, Worcester man. Been a quiet night really for many of these England players, not really had the opportunity.
Tap and go. Tap and
go from Brand. No, he thinks better of it. That intercom you've got don't work anymore.
Well, all it does is just take the clock down. Yes, again, I'm going to go through the process. This game is lost for England, so possibly they can just try and get something out from the lineup. But again, fortuitous, but he sticks his big paw out.
He's a big man, isn't he?
Under 20, my word.
Those
and
high knees.
He's quick. South Africa unearthed, I think, a real gem there. And they've got a few out there on that pitch tonight, but I tell you what, he has stood out.
Many a good player in the South African midfield. Maybe add the name of Ricus Pretorius to the list. England come down with the lineup a little bit after the World show this.
You're out, you get out.
Need to score and score quickly, you suggest, but at the moment they're looking to build. Maybe end the game well is perhaps the message. Boxer hanging on in there, metaphorically and literally. England swing it round to the right hand side. Down it goes. South Africans all over the place. Penalty coming. They'll have to go back. The body language from the England players tells its own story. It hasn't really worked tonight, Darren.
No, it hasn't, and actually no one's really rolled their sleeves up and said, OK, I'm the man. And sometimes it takes that. All right, it's a collective, obviously, but actually no one. And I thought, Tom Willis has come with a big rat. And didn't really do it. Man, I've got picking him out individually, but Hinckley, Hill, all the guys, Scott in particular, Kapoku came with a big. They haven't done it today. Look, I'm sure they are going to do it in France, but they're going to have to up the ante and really want that desire, because South Africa came here with that one aim, and they've just shown it. I think from 1 to 23. England plenty to work on, but again, as coaches and players, they know they haven't performed tonight. They haven't been allowed to perform, so there's plenty of work to do.
Seabrook has to go and rescue this from the bottom of the ruck. Tom Seabrook wrestles the ball to the floor. Hill spills it. Walker has to tidy it up. Brand comes back this way. Brand trying to find the right person, goes round the outside himself. Kept in field, no, out it goes. Really sums up South Africa's defence, that. Rory Brand trying to run round it, but running out of room. South Africa have to be split up. A little bit of afters, a little bit of frustration, I think, from England there.
Look, yes, you can sense that anyway, but it is just, again, a good defensive set. Brand's trying to create some, but no one's actually coming back for him. No one's actually coming back at an angle when the ball goes out. It has been almost that move there is almost the story of the day. Very, there's desire from England, but actually the communication and teamwork hasn't been there. But again, the story of the day, defence from South Africa, absolutely superb.
And this will please Sean Root a great deal. We spoke to him before the game. He's really enjoyed this little mini tour they've had, and this will be the absolute cherry on the cake. Beating England in their own backyard. It is 80 on the clock. Time has been called, and that is it. That has to go down as a really good win, Dowie. A fine win for a very good junior box team.
I think they'll have it as one of their best, to be honest, especially with the amount of rugby they've played over quite a few days. They've had 2 or 3 day turnover since the Welsh game. They've come here, and to a man, they've absolutely had tremendous desire, tremendous skill, tremendous heart. They've just done it for each other. They're the band of brothers, and they totally deserve this victory.
What about England, Dowie? What do England take from this? Because you've got to look at it positively. They're going into the Junior World Cup. What do they talk about now?
You don't become a bad team overnight. England are not a bad team. They've got a lot of talent there. There's a lot of talent to come back. Ipitoye came back, Hardwick will come back. These guys, they'll strengthen the side. But they've got to realise that they just can't sit on their laurels just because they were very good throughout the Six Nations. They're going to a World Cup, a Junior World Cup. You don't get that opportunity very often, and they're going to have to up this ante, and I would say by about 50%. It was been a lacklustre performance. They just thought from that performance that things were going to happen. The Springboks came here and actually took that game away in the first 5-10 minutes.
That man there has played really well.
Go-to man.
He's not the only one who's played well. There's quite a sprinkling of Springboks, junior Springboks have played well. But I have to say also, if these two teams meet again later in June, the Junior World Cup, this is a major fillip for South Africa.
It is a fillip again, but again, England will have to try and outdo South Africa on where they were strong tonight. The driving more was outstanding. The scrum created a little bit, but the line out always functions well. The set piece went well, but again, the talent they've got behind, it's just untapped at the moment. But again, it's just a great win. All I can say, a great win for the Junior Springboks.
Final score at Worcester will come back after the break. England under 20s 12, Junior Springboks 26.
Testing 1 2. No. He's not plugged it in yet. He's not plugged it in yet. Speaking. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Yeah, he's not plugged the other one in yet. He's plugging it in. Are you in yet, mate? You in? You're in. Okay, looking into it. Take your bin bag off, mate. Okay, my fault. Yeah, test it. Testing 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Is that framed all right, Aid? Is about my height.
Well, welcome back to Sixways, and we've been managed to be joined by Steve Bates, England coach there, and ultimately I would have thought that's pretty disappointing.
Oh, I don't know. No, I think that's exactly what we needed. It was what we expected. They've had 3 games together this week, and I think their cohesiveness in their team was obvious. That's the first time we've played together for a long time. Different combinations out there tonight. People coming back from injury, so if we hadn't given the interception try, it would have been a 1 score in it. And once we'd sort of had a word at half time about dealing with the driving line out, which was a dominant factor in the first half, then I thought we played some good stuff in the second half. We look a bit rusty. We look like we're perhaps the effects of training hard this week. But I think that gives us a real great platform to know what we've got to work on to get to the final of the World Cup.
So from your point of view, there were positives out there. There were things that you were seeing that you can take into next month.
Oh, definitely. This was a game of trying. The starting front row haven't played at all together. Didn't play much in the Six Nations. We've got Joel Kapoku coming in for his first game. We've had 5 sessions before the game today, so that gives us a load of stuff to work on. But also I thought we defended well. We were pretty physical. Scrummage went okay. Line-out was good in the second half. So there was loads of stuff to take out of that. I mean, I think for us the score was irrelevant. Really, it was about what we needed to learn, what we need to work on. Did we see enough of what we've done in training? I think we did. Therefore, we'll take the positives out of that. Yeah.
Very briefly, were South Africa what you thought they'd be?
Yeah, pretty much. They were pretty physical up front. Scored a good try early on. Perhaps that was that first 2 minutes was probably the difference in the game. Maybe they got forward well, which is something we're going to have to look at. But second half, I thought we came back into it. We kept the ball for longer. I think that's because our line-out functioned better in the second half. But South Africa are very physical, and they proved that again tonight.
Thank you very much, Steve, for your time. I'll let you get back to the players. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll bring Dowie back in as well.
Cheers, mate. See you soon. Thank you.
Dowie, Steve Bates, a little bit philosophical and sort of getting what he wanted from tonight, which was to know about combinations and how people were going to play.
Well, he did say he knew his 28 almost before going to France, before he kicked the ball. I think probably he's still got that in his mind. They don't become a bad team, as I said, overnight. They've got some great talent. They were just outdone today. But you learn. Players will learn that. Coaches will learn that. And actually sometimes you just need to roll your sleeves up and say, follow me. And there wasn't much of that going on tonight, from the captain to some of the props or whatever. They did it in bits and pieces. You can't do it. You've got to do it 80 minutes. And South Africa, I've got to take my hat off. I thought they were absolutely phenomenal. And there's a big lad behind me now and a very happy coach. So I'll leave him to you. Coming in, my friend.
In comes Sean Root.
Sean.
In here comes Sean. Come left of me. Oh, Sean. I think that's a pretty good end to what is a successful tour of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, I think the boys showed tremendous guts at the end. You could see the tanks were empty at the end, but they hanged in there, and I don't think the result is such a big thing for us to get used to playing 3 games in a row. And thanks for England for hosting us. I think it's fantastic.
And as regards individual performances, some people stood up and really made a case for themselves tonight.
For sure, we tried different combinations in this last game. Want to give everybody a fair chance on this tour, and I think there was some players that really put up their hands, and it's great to see.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for your time. We'll try and bring in the young man Rickers Pretorius. A little word about him. Nice little moment for him. We just called him man of the match. He scored an intercept try.
It's fantastic to have a loose forward on the centre berth. So he is. So I thought he had an excellent game.
Let's bring him in and have a word with him. Rickers come in here. Well, how have you enjoyed being here in England? Because it looked quite fun out there tonight.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience there, being out. It's an honour being here in England. I was last year in school, so just coming here and playing this rugby was next level.
And as regards the rugby itself, did you feel that it went well for South Africa tonight?
Yeah, actually we did what we wanted to do with the plan, and we fight till the end, and that's what we wanted.
Good stuff, and a personal little moment for you, picking the pockets. Dowie and I in commentary thought you read the defence very well and found yourself in the right place at the right time for a nice little try.
Yeah, that was really, I just appreciate that moment, and it was really great. Practiced all week, getting off the line, everything.
Good stuff.
Really well.
Well done. You are our man of the match. Congratulations, and good luck for the Junior World Cup. Thank you very much indeed, Rickers Pretorius.
I can't present you because you are 34, aren't you? So enjoy that. Thank you very much. Have a great tournament. Cheers, pal.
Fine. Let's have a look at some of the highlights then, Dowie, and highlights very much in South Africa's terms, because they did start well and they ended well.
That's right. You watch Lombard there. He comes as a second receiver. He's fantastic feet. Creel scores the try, and it was a great start for South Africa, but it was bombardment from their forwards that just attracts England's defence in. They become a little bit narrow, allowing the space. And again, it's that man Pretorius just holding his line in there. He is something special, this man of the match. England did respond.
Responded in the shape of Loader. Steve Bates talking about combinations, and to a certain extent you can see what he's saying, because when it went wrong for England tonight, the combinations were lacking.
Yeah, they made wrong decisions. White a couple of times made a wrong decisions, but again, they haven't played for quite a long time. I'll give them that. You can do so much in a training paddock. It doesn't replicate playing against a very, very good side like South Africa. They will learn from it, I hope. The second half was slightly better, but again, one thing they were unable to do was stop this forward pack from South Africa, which allows then the scrum halves to dart over. It's a simple game when it's done, collectively well.
And this under-20s game is no different to the senior game, really. It's the same process.
Look at the size of these guys. Yes, I mean, it gets a little bit more physical the way up you go, but Kriya making that little break, getting the ball down by Kotzer, who's the 10. Again, I thought it had an outstanding game, but they would, off the back of a very good form and dominance. This is it. This is what won South Africa the game. It was good combinations, catch and drive, and all 7 forwards. Not the try scorer there. Erasmus scoring. It's the other 7 guys in front of him, pumping their legs, keeping together, speaking to the referee. When it's done well, it's unstoppable. And England said, right, okay, we'll have to copy you, because that's the only way we're going to get back in the game.
And in patches in the second half, it did get better for England.
It is going to get better. There is some great talent out there. There's even more talent to come back. As I said, Ipiatoya, Hardwick in the backs, a few forwards can come there, but really collectively they have to up the game. And I said by 50%, they will. They're going to the Junior World Cup. They're not going for a little game down the beach. They're going for a Junior World Cup, and everyone now watching that will see England. Oh, they're susceptible to a catch and a drive, and they're not quite at the races. Look, this side is a good side. This side will get better, but they have to perform better collectively and have more precision.
Yeah, absolutely, and a little final try and a little final moment as well for a man of the match. We spoke to him just there, a wonderfully courteous, big South African, and he picked the pocket in the midfield here and he raced away. Rickers Pretorius, a name for the future.
Mate, a name for now and the future. Western Province player. Like I said, the pack was made up mostly of Western Province players, but this guy, just talking to the coach there, he said he's something special, and he said, yep, he's absolutely, he is no doubt going to play for South Africa's senior team very, very shortly if he carries on this progress and the way that he just orchestrates defence, hits people hard, and it's the 2 inches, the top 2 inches have been outstanding from the whole South African team.
Well, Dowie, thank you very much
Pleasure.
for your company tonight. It's been interesting. The Junior World Cup is upon us, but that's about it from us at Sixways. A little rain-soaked Sixways, but the dampening of spirits does not belong to South Africa. Victorious tonight, the Junior Boks. A very good night from us.